I know a lot of woodworkers struggle with resawing. There's aspects of it that just make them pull their hair out. I don't have enough hair to spare to make that happen. So let me give you a couple of tips that I think can help you with resawing. What I want to do with this big piece of beautiful mahogany is cut a veneer from it that I can use for a project I'm working on. So one thing is where the veneer comes off the board. I'm going to peel that veneer from the outboard side of this board. So this is my veneer piece out here. It's kind of counterintuitive. If you're used to setting up a table saw, usually what we think about there is the piece we want to cut is between the blade and the fence. In this case, we're going to peel it off the outboard side. The reason for that is that, especially with a big board like this, if that skinny piece of veneer were between the blade and the fence, the big board would have a tendency to collapse in on it and mess up my cut. So I'm going to set my fence so that the veneer comes off of my right side. The other thing that's really, really important is blade selection. I really like these low tension blades for my bandsaw. Lots of good things going for you here. With a low tension blade on the bandsaw, my bandsaw is not working as hard because since we haven't drawn the blade up so tight, there's basically more horsepower available to make the cut. That lets me get through bigger pieces like this more easily. Another great advantage, they're thinner kerf than other typical bandsaw blades. So just like on your table saw, you might run a thin kerf blade on your saw so that you're taking out less wood. As a result, your saw is not working as hard. That leaves more power available here to do the cut. The other thing that's great about them is that because they're low tension, they have very little, if any, tendency to drift. So when you do your fence setup, it's much easier to do with a low tension blade in order to get a good quality cut. I'm looking for a tooth count of 3 to 4 teeth per inch, and you'll see after I make this cut a really, really superior surface finish off of this blade that's going to require very little work on the veneer itself to clean it up. The other thing is that once I get started here, I'll be using a push pad in order to make the cut. Because we're taking the wood off the outboard side, the blade itself is very close to this face. I want you to be safe, so I don't want your hand out here. We want a push pad out here just in case something goes wrong and the blade does exit. We don't want your hand to be next in line. Let's get this blade going through the mahogany here and we'll see how it goes. There's our veneer. Excellent cut quality on there, which means very little work left to do on this veneer in order to get it ready for my project. So a lot of the trick with bandsaw resawing is about blade selection. Also, take it easy as you're pushing the material through so that you don't overfeed it, and you'll end up with a good cut quality and you'll really enjoy your resawing.